What's up, design family, and welcome back to another episode of Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you back on the channel. Before we get started, if you guys are not subscribed, please consider doing so. We put out great content on a week-to-week basis, and it would mean the absolute world to us for you to join along for the ride. On today's episode, I'll be giving you 3 alternatives to cotton within the context of sportswear design. So cotton is definitely one of the world's most widely used raw resources when it comes to textile production. And it's no surprise, it's one of the oldest raw materials that we actually discovered in terms of how to turn that raw material into a yarn that we then make into a fabric. And it comes with a lot of inherent positives to it. However, when it comes specifically to sportswear design, sportswear production, cotton itself leaves a lot to be desired. And on today's episode, I'll give you 3 of my personal favorite alternatives that you should definitely be considering when it comes to creating your next sportswear collection. Hey guys, and welcome to Fittdesign TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. In terms of alternatives, we have polyester. But wait, before you start thinking, but polyester is the polar opposite of cotton. It is, but wait till the end of the section and I'll let you know how we can get it to feel more like cotton. Polyester itself is one of the world's most well-known synthetic fibers, and it has a lot of benefits to it. Its synthetic nature makes it durable and lightweight, unlike cotton, which can actually be quite delicate and quite thick and heavy over time. Also, it's extremely wrinkle resistant. Anyone who has owned a 100% cotton shirt knows that you need to iron that meticulously to remove all of the wrinkles. So with polyester, you actually get none of that baggage. Also, it's quite quick dry and it's extremely sweat wicking. So for a sports performance item, it's going to help cool you down and keep you dry, which is extremely important in that environment. It also retains its shape extremely well. Unlike cotton, which over a variety of washes, so over time, over washing it, you'll tend to see that the garment starts to lose its structure, lose its shape, it'll stretch out. Polyester will not do that. So when it comes to the biggest drawbacks of polyester, a lot of people will think of polyester in its sheen-like format, so extremely shiny, very cheap looking. And yes, there are a lot of polyester fabrics on the market that can feel like that. However, you can actually mechanically brush, nap, or even peach the surface of a fabric. This is going to bring up the fibers and give the garment a very fuzzy-like feel. So actually, when you're looking at it, it's going to look more and more like cotton, or it's going to look a lot more familiar and almost warm and fuzzy. And you're gonna do this without actually sacrificing any of the inherent benefits you get from polyester itself. Number 2 on the list, we have viscose, otherwise known as a semi-synthetic version of silk. This is because it has a lot of physical properties that it draws from silk, especially when it comes to the hand touch and the hand feel. We've done a separate video on viscose in the past that I highly recommend you check out, where we go into detail in terms of what I'm going to be discussing in this short list. Also, viscose itself is considered a semi-synthetic fiber. We actually source the raw materials, the raw resources from the cellulose that we find in tree pulp. And we provide man-made processes to actually create these into yarns, which we then turn into the viscose textile. When it comes to the actual physical properties of viscose, which make it a great alternative to cotton, is that one, it drapes beautifully, actually more beautifully than cotton. It drapes in a way that is extremely form-flattering, especially on a tank top or on a t-shirt. It doesn't hug you in the wrong places, and it does a great job of enhancing the shapes and the kind of curves of the figure. Also, it's quite inexpensive because we figured out man-made processes to streamline the production of viscose, to scale the production of viscose, and unlike cotton, it's not a natural fiber. So in terms of its production, we're not necessarily limited by how much cotton there is. We also are able to take the raw resources that we make viscose and scale it. So it can be quite inexpensive, especially when compared to cotton. And lastly, just like cotton, it is extremely breathable. So it is a semi-synthetic fiber, but it does not sacrifice any of the breathability or any of those user comforts. Number 3 on our list is bamboo, and bamboo is a fiber that needs no introduction. It's been used for years and actually used for centuries. Used in the textile industry, used to create papers, medicines, and now because of modern technology, we've been able to take the raw resources of bamboo pulp and turn them into yarns effectively to create cost-effective, economical fibers and textiles that we see on the market. So bamboo is an option. It's a very widely used option, and especially in recent years, it's becoming more and more viable, especially when compared to natural fibers like cotton. It's extremely beneficial in a variety of categories. One, it's antibacterial, so it's going to do a great job at keeping you odor-free, which is extremely important when it comes to working out when you're sweating. We've done a separate video in the past on anti-odor fabrics that I highly recommend you check out, and it is anti-odor, and you're gonna get a lot of those benefits that cotton simply isn't able to compete with. Also, unlike cotton, it's quite sweat absorbent, so it's going to do a great job at keeping you dry. This is very important when you're sweating, when you're working out in a high intensity environment. Also, it is extremely insulating. What does that mean? It does a great job at trapping heat when you need it to trap heat, aka in the winter, and it does a great job at letting heat release when you need to, especially in times of summer. So it provides the best of both worlds in that sense. Also, it's hypoallergenic. So just like cotton, which is a natural fiber, it's going to be extremely comfortable and smooth on a variety of skin types. It's not going to cause any rashing that you may get with things like polyester, and it's just going to be a comfortable all-around fabric to wear. Lastly, it's very soft, so it's not going to sacrifice any of the softness that you get from cotton, and you get the hypoallergenic nature, you get the antibacterial nature, the sweat absorption, so on and so forth. Well, that is pretty much it, guys. That's a wrap. It's been 3 alternatives to cotton. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two, and you'll be able to use these textiles in your upcoming collections. My goal is to broaden your horizons and to kind of give you these little tips and tricks that I've learned along the way as a sportswear designer. If you guys enjoyed this video, please let us know in the comments below what other types of content you want to see. We enjoy putting out this content on a week-to-week basis, and we love when you guys provide your opinions and let us know what you'd like to see from us. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.